Hello and welcome to the Money Rebel podcast. This is your host, Haley David, and it is my mission to help you be your own boss, rebel against your 9-to-5, and build a successful business that you actually love. In my world, I believe that business gets to be fun, easy, and profitable AF. This podcast is your go-to guide to help you start and build a business that will pave the way for your dream life. Join me every week as I chat about marketing tips, business strategy, industry trends, and life as an entrepreneur. So if you're ready to play by your own rules, attract more dream clients, and build your business to 6 figures and beyond, grab a drink and let's dive in. So Unison is one of my friends and one of my one-on-one private coaching clients. We've been working together for almost 2 years, and today she's just going to share a little bit more about the magic that she does, her company, how she helps people, and a special, exciting new thing that she has whipped up for the new year. So, Unison, tell us a little bit more about you. Give us your intro.
Okay, well, about 2 years ago, before we were friends, we met just on the interwebs like everyone else was doing 2 years ago, right? And a mutual friend said, "Oh, you want to start a business and it's geared towards organization. You should work with Haley." And I said, "Okay, I'm in the zone of saying yes to the universe." And I trusted, and I called Haley, and she was working on a group project at the time, and I said, "That sounds amazing. And I think I'm ready to go one-on-one." So before we were even friends, you were my coach, my guru, and I was your client. And then a friendship kind of formed from there. But I had this spark of an idea that I wanted to help women kick the clutter for a kick-ass life, really edit down to the essence of who they are. And, these days people get buried and overwhelmed all the time. Those are the two words I hear all the time. I feel buried. I feel overwhelmed with all of the things I have to do, with all of this stuff. And we cannot control what's going on in the world or with another person, but we can control ourselves and we can control our environment. So I said, let's do it. Let's form this business, because I love helping women do that. So over the last 2 years, we've really taken our time. I've just been so happy with the process, because I didn't just form an organizational business here in San Diego and just, ABC organizers, anything like that. We really dove deep into what mattered to me, which was, creating a life by design. And to me, if you don't know what you want or where your next step is, it could be because that whole idea is buried, right? It could be because you spend all of your free time moving furniture around or organizing things daily, that's the pressure on you. So I started doing a lot more research, and I started doing market research, what people were saying, right? Haley's favorite word. If you guys know Haley, my favorite word. I told her to get a tattoo that says, "I do market research."
That's what this means. That's what my tattoo means, remember?
You guys, if you know Haley, that should be it for sure, right? So, but really, not only what was important to me, but what's important to my clients. And so that's what this whole journey's been about. I mean, I just had a memory pop up from yesterday, Haley, that was the memory that said, "Help me name my business."
Oh my gosh.
Right? And then you guys, just like last week, I had someone come up to me and say how the name of my business and the way it's structured really means something to them. The name of my business is Go Goddess Organizing. Now, my brother heard that and he was like, "I wouldn't hire you." Guess what? He's not my ideal client.
Exactly.
I want to work with people who are goddesses. I want to work with people who know this fire inside them exists and they just want to unbury it, right?
Yes.
So it's a little bit go gadget arm, right? Because we're going to get it going. And it's a little bit go, like fun, because I'm fun. And then it's goddess, because every woman I know, every woman I've ever met on this planet is that goddess. And I want to help them unbury it. So we're Go Goddess Organizing over here, we being me right now. And I have packages where I work with people in person, helping clear the clutter. And I have packages where I work virtually with people. And I really combine both. Like this is my love, is combining both the actual movement of the things and the coaching. What is it costing us to live in clutter? And kicking that so we can have that life that we truly want. And
exactly.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I love that. And so, yes, you guys, so the name of her company is Go Goddess Organizing. And as you can tell, Unison is a goddess. She radiates this energy. And I just, today we're going to talk about what Unison does, how she helps people, but, through the lens of shifting your life and creating space in your home and how these are related. And so I just love how, one, I get to work with really freaking incredible women like Unison, and to help her not just create any old organizing business. Like if you want to create a traditional business, that's totally fine. But my specialty as a coach is really helping people build a business they love, because I know what it's like to be in a business that you don't love. And it feels just like a job that you do have more control over. But to craft a business that represents your soul and your essence, and to infuse yourself into it, that takes a lot of bravery and strength. And that's what Unison has been doing over the past 2 years. She just really got clear on, like she said, her life by design, what that looks like, and being innovative. Like in her industry, she is shaking things up. She's changing the way traditional organizing is done to go deeper. And from the beginning of her and I working together, her things have shifted, right? But the thing that's always stayed the same is Unison's belief about the energetic and the underlying things that go beyond just the stuff, and that there's more to organizing and decluttering than just like your physical stuff. It's the energetic pieces. And so before we dive into this energy stuff, which you guys, you want to stay, like if you're watching it live, stay to the end. If you're watching the replay, watch the whole thing, because I promise you, no matter if you're a stay-at-home mom, an entrepreneur, you're working in corporate, you will get something out of this live. And so before we really dive into all the juicy goodness, tell us a little bit more about how you made the decision to shift your life and start the organizing business.
Well, yeah. Well, like a lot of people, the pandemic hit and I was just, smacked in the face. Like I have been a school teacher. I've been a music teacher at a public school for 22 years. I know I started when I was 12. I look young. It's filters. but I had been teaching music for 22 years. Music with kids, and I was at a performing arts school. It was amazing. But then the pandemic hit, and I have always considered myself to be a very upbeat, positive person. But I started getting low. And I was home all the time with my two boys, who were 3 and 4 at the time, and expected to work on Zoom, take care of the kids full time, and the house. It was a lot. And I started feeling these pressures. And I look at pictures of me at this time, and you wouldn't even recognize me from then to now. I didn't care anymore. I was giving up. And I found that I needed my own space. I needed to just shed, right? And I think a lot of people during the pandemic started organizing or started decluttering, but I did it really in my garage so that I could have a place to go that was like just mine. I'm in California, and so we don't have basements or anything like that. It was the garage, right? And but as I was doing it, I noticed like I was also like letting go of a lot of things that like maybe defined a former me. Like I don't need to hold on to, this is my husband. I'm talking directly to my husband right now. He's holding on to his college textbook still, you guys, and he's in IT. It changes all the time. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing, right? But letting go of the things that defined us in the past to create space for, I don't know what, but whatever I wanted to do next. And with every box I let go of, with everything I threw away, I started feeling lighter. It just energetically lighter and physically lighter, right? I didn't have this stuff. And it just made me feel so much better. And I thought about how, like, back in high school or anything, I would love to help my friends sit down. I would sit down on their bed and like they would, hold up, should I keep this dress or should I throw it out? And it was just like, get rid of it, keep it. I found a lot of joy in that. So I was like, I wonder if I could do this full time, because this brings me a lot of joy. And so that's how I kind of came to it. I started shedding things. And then last year, I shed my job. My job of 22 years was no longer bringing me joy. I'm not telling you to leave your job yet. However, like, I knew that piece for this business to grow, I needed to let that go. For this business to grow, I needed to let that go. I think we have a new catchphrase. However, and like, it happens with a lot of things, friendships, relationships. You're safe, my husband. If those college textbooks go, and then, but like stuff. And so that's where we can start. Do you have a closet full of high heels? You're my age, 46. High heels are not working for your back and your feet anymore, but you're holding on to them. I mean, they give you pain. Like, let go of the things that do not serve you. And so that's what I want to help people do. And that's what I've been doing now for almost 2 years. Yeah.
I love it. And yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I'm going to share links for you guys to connect with Unison and check out her website. She goes more into her story on there. And, like she was saying, a lot of us had awakenings during the pandemic where we spent a lot of time in our home. And there's many, many reasons why I love working with Unison. And one of them is because I will only work with people who I truly feel like I can partner with them in their business and truly almost become a partner with them. And the work that Unison does and the transformations that she helps her clients bring, as her coach and her friend, I just believe in it wholeheartedly, because I've seen how it has affected me, some of my family members, friends, you know what I mean? I just really think, and I know that your home affects so much of your life, so much of your day. And that's why, it's one of the reasons why I've really loved working with you, is because the work you do is truly so important. And what you and I do are very similar, right? You help people unbury their potential. I do the same in a different way, right? I help people unbury their potential so they can start and grow a business that not only makes the money they want it to make, but gives them the life that they truly want. And in some way, I help them organize the things that need to happen too. And so, we're going to dive into more of Unison's like philosophy on organizing and stuff. But before we get into all of it, I'm just curious to know, Unison, what makes Go Goddess Organizing different from most traditional organizing companies?
Well, if you go to my website, you're going to notice there's like really no before and after photos on there, because this is a process that I go through with you. It's not something that I'm completely designing and, it's picture perfect. It's not going to happen. We don't live in picture perfect show homes quite often, right? We live surrounded by the things we love. So working with me, what makes it different is I don't kick you out of your house to then voila, do a grand reveal. You are going to be excited about it, but you're going to be with me most of the time decluttering. I want to know what you want to get rid of, what's important to you. And then I'll question you along the way. My friends say, there's all these like very well-timed questions like, well, why are we keeping this? Like what does it mean? And what would it mean if we let that go? And that's what a lot of people need help with in the decluttering. They'll get stuck on holding like one piece. Like, the questions I hear all the time are, what if I need this later? Or, but I spent good money on it. Is there bad money? I don't know. So like those two things are reasons people are holding on to things. Where working with me and Go Goddess Organizing, those aren't coming into play. Is this serving you now, or the future you that you want to be? And if we could just like keep going, right? Like maybe day one working with me, it's level 1 stuff. We're getting rid of level 1 stuff by, you know, I have people working with me in 3 months. They are just shedding can I cuss on here? Shit, right? They just shed it.
Yes, you can. Yes, it's cuss friendly.
So, you know, the things that we don't realize we're holding on to. And this might be a good place to say, I really deal with like the energetics of like I'm going to say 3 categories. We have the physical, like the physical clutter, right? How it affects our physical energy. And when I think physical energy, I think of anything that has to do with my actual physical body. Like, do I have a box in front of the closet that I have to move every time I want to get into that closet? That's costing me physical energy. All the way to, what is the food that's cluttering up my refrigerator or cluttering up my pantry? Is that affecting my physical, body? Like my health, my physical well-being. So that's one energy that we deal with. And that's probably the one that people, when you hire other organizers, you think of a lot, right? I see the things, I need to get rid of it. But I like to go deeper. There's 2 more. And the next one is emotional energy. Emotional energy is like relationships, my relationships with other people, whether you have roommates, children, a spouse, and yourself, right? We all have at least ourselves. So what is that emotional, that relationship energy with these people, right? And it could be something like, oh, my grandmother gave me this, I'm going to say China hutch. I know you younger kids don't like China hutch, but like this thing that's big and taking up space in my house, and it really like is too big, but it reminds me of my grandmother, and I love my grandmother. So I keep this piece that doesn't serve me or my home. And it's like, back it up. The first thing is that you had a good relationship with your grandmother. The second thing is, I'm sure that her spirit, wherever it may be, would want you to be happy. She is no longer connected to the physical plane, so she doesn't care about her China hutch anymore. We can let go of some of these sentimental things that are holding us back in a way. And that's when you have a good relationship with someone, right? Now, if something ended badly, like a relationship with a lover or something like that, and there's still things around your house that remind you of them, you're tethering yourself to this bad energy, right? This bad emotional energy. And you're not opening yourself up for the possibility of a new one. It could be something simple like a box of letters that you keep, up tucked in the closet or something. That person is not in your life. They no longer deserve to be taking your energy. And we know as women, we catalog everything. So we know that box is there. It is actually taking up space in our brain, right? So if I'm encouraging anyone to cut those energetic ties to other people who don't deserve your energy anymore, right? And then the last one, which this one gives me goosebumps, you guys. This one is the most important one to me and to probably a lot of people on here as entrepreneurs. The mental energy, right? This is your creativity, your connection to source, your muse. When we have clutter in our house, it is taking up, you've heard this, right? Physical clutter equals mental clutter. If you haven't heard this before, it really happens, and it happens big time with women for sure. So when we have clutter, we are mentally keeping track of it in our heads. Like, oh, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to fix this. I need to straighten this. And it is exhausting and overwhelming. And it is taking up literal space in your brain that could be your creative source. If you want to make more money, kick the clutter so you can have a freer, clearer connection to source, and then you can create. Your source is wanting to tell you. If you've been like praying for money, if you've been like, I want to be successful and things like this, and source is like, hey, I'm trying to tell you what to do, but I can't get through all this mental clutter, right? So to me, that's the biggest one. And I think that was one thing that drove me to start this business, right? It was like, when I was kicking all of the other things out, dropping the music, letting some of my instruments go, like instruments, right? Like things that are important to a music teacher, it's not important to me anymore. And honestly, when I packed up my classroom to leave, I really didn't take that much with me. I left it for the next teacher because I won't need it anymore. And I was just yesterday going through, I had 2 boxes and I combined it into one. I have one box of things that I saved from a 22-year career. That's it.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of it actually was just like fun tapestries I had hanging on the wall. Like it wasn't anything to do with music, but so that's what I'm saying about the energies and working with Go Goddess. I hope that was like a wake up of like, oh my gosh, like, wow, there's so much connected to our stuff. And this is generational, right? We have grandparents, great grandparents, things like this, who went through the Depression. And that was a different time. They needed to save, they needed to use everything, and they did. And so now we're raised by these people who then have that same mentality. But we're living in a different time. And so we need to be able to shed this generational idea of like, save everything, do everything, buy everything that you need on sale. The buying of things in bulk because it's cheaper, I understand it, but it's taking up space and we need space.
Exactly. That's a wonderful intro to kind of your framework, right? Is one of the things that makes Go Goddess different is that you have this energetic approach to the actual services that you do, right? So when you're working with someone, like you're saying, you're taking time to ask questions to get a deeper understanding of how their energy and what energies are being affected by their clutter and how they're wanting to shift them. And an important thing to touch on is, we've talked about this a lot in our coaching calls and with the work and things we've created, is how a lot of people probably have elements of all three, right? And one thing I want to touch on is I would say I'm a pretty organized person. However, these 3 energetic elements, even if you feel like you're someone who's very organized, they still can affect you, because I know just from coaching you and watching you create these things, I've shared with you, how important my home space is, like, and I know that even though I don't have a lot of stuff, that I probably have letters or papers or small things from times, that are affecting all 3 of these energetic principles. And so I just want to say for people listening, these energetic principles could be applied to things on your computer that you have stored, things in your physical home. And it doesn't have to be like a lot of stuff. It's just like really taking inventory and being intentional with the things you have in your home, and knowing that what is in your home is affecting these 3 different energy pieces. And, with ever since the pandemic hit, whether people have started businesses or are working from home, whatever the case may be, more people are spending more time in their home. And I know for me, and Unison knows this too, like I said, I've shared this with her, my home is so important. As someone who, facilitates transformations for other people, for my clients, I need to energetically be in the right space to serve. And again, I know a lot of women, a lot of people in general love helping people and love serving. And if your energy is being drained, it's, we deserve to feel like goddesses in our home and to feel like we have something to give the world, give our people, and give ourselves, And so as someone who, works intimately with other people to help them, I know it's so important for me to feel replenished by my home, because if I don't feel replenished myself, I'm not going to be able to give to other people. And knowing that my home is helping restore my physical energy, restore my mental and emotional energy, that allows me to run my business, to serve my clients, and show up how I want to. Like it's really the starting point for everything we want to do is our home, right? That was a rant, but it's why I'm just so passionate about what you do, because I've experienced it firsthand that my home is so important in everything I do, really.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. that sounds weird, but yeah, like, you know, you have to fill your cup up before you can fill other people's up. And our home, go goddess, your home is your sanctuary, right? Like breaking down, not maybe the routines that you have to do, but making them the rituals to take care of your space and yourself so that you can give and pour into your clients and to other people, into your relationships, right? Like you have to. I mean, for me, I blew up over the weekend at my two children who are now 5 and 6. Like they are tornadoes in my house. It was like they were like sent to test me, right? but like I can't, and I just said, I cannot live like this. I cannot live in a house that is like this. You need to support mama. Like you need to get on board with my vision here because I can't handle it. And then, you know what? After they cleaned up and after we cleaned up, we were reading stories. We were like cutting out gingerbread men. You know, we were doing things. And it was like, I got to pour into them as soon as my home was clean. Like, oh,
Exactly.
like people do not, you realize it, but people don't realize like this level of anxiety, overwhelm that comes with living in a messy space. And there's this term, hot mess. Like I'm a hot mess, like that people throw out as a like a joke, right? But honestly, like clean up your space and watch how hot and fiery and phoenix you can actually be. Like take down that joke layer, clean it up and watch what happens because you're hot. You don't have to be a hot mess.
Exactly. And, you know, one thing I want to touch on too is you and I have talked about this a lot, but I have realized how important my home is to everything I do. I'm lucky that I've experienced that. And you know, when I first moved to Scotland, I was staying in an Airbnb and we got on a client call and I was like, I feel so off here. Like I'm really sensitive to like energy. And I was just like, I can't be here. Like you know, I flew for the first time ever to Scotland. That wasn't scary. That was easy. The hardest moment for me being in Scotland was being in that Airbnb because it wasn't serving me energetically. Like it didn't represent how I wanted to feel in my home and how I wanted to feel in my life. And I remember getting on a call with you and being like, I just feel so off. And, you know, we came up with some really epic copy that day and we were just like talking about ideas because I remember telling you, like, I don't think people realize how much their home is affecting their happiness, their relationships, their business. Like it could have been easy for me if I didn't have the intuition and awareness. It could have been easy for me to say, it's Scotland. I'm not supposed to be here. Oh, it's my business. It's this furniture. It's all these other things, right? I could have outsourced my unhappiness to other things, but it really was me looking internally and be like, no, I know that if my home felt supportive, all of these things would feel a lot differently. So I just really don't think people realize how important their home space is and how much it actually affects your life on a day-to-day level beyond even just like the typical clutter that you think of, you know, like if you get out of bed in the morning and the first thing you see is a pile of clothes or curtains that sit weird with your windows, just like all these little things that you might not even realize you're taking inventory of. And I think this would be classified as mental energy, but it's like all of these things that are just like subconsciously you're storing in your brain. It adds up, you know? And so again, that was a rant, but I love what you do because I just really think if people created a home that felt like a sanctuary to them, it would allow them to, one, show up better for themselves, allow them to feel more confident in their business. I mean, the ripple effect from having a home that feels supportive, you can't even measure it, really.
Well, that's what I was going to say too, is like, I mean, I remember that like so vividly. And I love what you said about outsourcing. But also if someone's listening to this and they're like, that's not me. It's not my home. It's not that. I would just invite you to like declutter an area change it up, and see then how you feel in that area. Because I have never once had a client work with me after we've decluttered things say, oh, that wasn't it. That wasn't it.
Exactly.
And,
I love that.
and then if you're doing it, you know, if you're shifting your energy, if you are shifting things out of your house that you no longer need, and it doesn't feel very different at first, maybe for you, this is the first step. You know, for me and for a lot of people, it is just the first step in finding out the next step, right? So like if you know you are an entrepreneur, if you know you want to work with Haley, but you're not sure like in what capacity or anything like that, like clear some space, clear your desk, right? Go through your entire desk. Do you have a desk? Do you have an area of your house that is set up for your business? Create the space for yourself to work with Haley, right? Like what would I be doing when I'm on a call with Haley? What would we be talking about? What would our business, you know, what would my business be? Set up your desk, set up your time, set up things that, you know, to act as if you've heard that before, but clear off the clutter and let it and get going, you know, like then maybe the next step will appear, right? That next step. We don't have to see the whole staircase. We just have to see one step at a time. And for a lot of my clients, I mean, that's why we call that first package when we're working together, that Persephone, right? If you know the goddess Persephone, she's in the underworld, right? She's in the darkness, she's with Hades. And when she's coming out every spring, when she's coming out and she can see the light, right? That's what we're doing. We're creating a step-by-step action plan of how to get the clutter out of your house and how to get you up that staircase and into the light.
Exactly. And again, there's so many overlaps between what you do and what I do, because how many times have, you know, I said to you on a call, we're at step 7, we're not at step 14. It's good to be aware of what our next steps are. But it's like, you know, maybe some people, they're like, oh, but I could never have a fully decluttered home that's organized forever. I could never. And it's like, look, we just jumped 10 steps. Let's focus on step 1 and step 2. And what if we just started with creating one space in your home that when you enter it or look at it, you feel lit the fuck up and you feel like, wow, I can go work with a coach or do all these other things I want to do, because it's like you don't have to see how it's all going to work out for you to start. And I think that's one of the biggest things that holds people back from investing in themselves, whether it's therapy, gym, working with a business coach, or hiring an organizer, is they think they need to know how it's all going to work out. And it's like, look, to invest in yourself, you just have to make the decision and know that each step you take will get you closer to the destination. And thinking that you're just going to jump from 0 to 14, it just sets us up for failure, because it's like, you know, if you take small actionable steps, and I know that's a phrase that you live by as well, small manageable chunks and small actionable steps, that's what's going to get you to your goal, not some magic wand waving, boom, you're there. It's like, just like when you're building a business, you show up for it every day, you build the business, you set your goals, but you are consistent and you're diligent. There's no, what's the phrase? I can't think of it, but there's no, you can't skip the work, right? And so Unison, it's very similar to organizing a home. It's like, look, we're going to start with small manageable chunks, make an action plan, and it's not about creating a showroom house that doesn't look like what you want it to. It's like, I work with people. I don't make people build a business how I have a business. That's one thing I pride myself on, is all of my clients' businesses look very different, because I encourage them to build a business they love that feels good to them. So when I work with someone, it's about encouraging them to trust themselves enough to build the business they want. And with you, you don't force people to get rid of things. You also work with them to build a home they love that they define, right? Because what might be a business I love and a home that I also love might be very different from how you would define that, how my grandmother would, how my friends would. And so it's like realizing you help people define what a sanctuary in their home would look like and would feel like, and you work with them to create that on their terms.
And on their budget and on their timeline, and just like, yeah, I'm just holding someone's hand and showing them what it, what it could be like, and I'm really helping them see their vision. And gosh, it's been such a such a discovery of boundaries for many, many people. Like, where are you setting the boundaries in yourself? And then it's a reflection in your home. If you're someone who says yes, yes, yes to someone all the time, or like to people all the time, and you're taking on so much, I'm questioning you. Is your home then a reflection of that? Like, are you the dumping ground of like everyone drops off their stuff at your house? And so your home is a reflection of you. And often we are unburying, like kicking the physical stuff out is this like, it's a reflection of what's going on in you. And it's happened so many times with so many of my clients. I mean, we laugh, we cry, like at every session. This is an unburying process. It's amazing.
Yeah. And like you said, sometimes there's tears, sometimes there's laughter, and it's all part of the process. And again, it's like when someone decides to work with you, they're getting a team member, they're getting a friend, someone who's there to really hold the vision of what they want for them, and help them get there without judgment, without making them feel bad or feel judged or feel like they're going to have to get rid of something they love, right? Like, it's truly such a supportive environment. And, one thing I want to say for people listening is I hope you feel inspired. And again, stay to the end because we still haven't gotten to the best part yet. We still have something really exciting to announce that Unison's been working on that ties into what we've been talking about today. But I hope that at least one of you who's watching this feels inspired to just go look at your space and take inventory, because I want to give an example. If you're thinking like, oh, well, my home seems organized, like it's fine, I'm not really sure how this is relative to me or affects me. It's like, if you're someone who serves clients all day long, right? You serve clients all day long, like Unison was saying, you say yes to everyone, you run the errand that you didn't want to run because you wanted to spend time in your home enjoying it or relaxing. It's like, if you're not honoring your own boundaries, at the end of the day, you come home and you're exhausted, right? And you don't have time for the things that you want to do, whether that's create a new product in your business or go live to talk about your product, or whether that's just to simply like have a cup of tea and watch your favorite show on the couch, whatever it is. Like, pouring into yourself is so important. And one of the best ways you can do that is to make sure your home feels like it's giving back to you, instead of like at the end of the day when you're already tired, it's going to take more of your energy, right? Like, how many of you have came home from work or running errands, or you've logged off Zoom for the day, and then you have a list of things you need to do in your home still, right? And it's like, oh, before I can relax, I have to do X, Y, and Z. And so it's like, I just want to show that there's different levels to this, right? And really, I think the biggest thing we're talking about here is like, when you create space in your home, you're able to create space in your life. And because of that, you're shifting your life, right? Like, if you wake up every day, like uninspired by your home, right? Like, it doesn't feel nurturing, it doesn't feel supportive. Showing up in your business, it's going to be that much harder. Showing up with your kids, it's going to be that much harder. Husband relationships. And so it's really just like, what I want people to realize is it doesn't have to be showroom ready. That's not what we're talking about. It doesn't have to be, you have no clutter everywhere, anywhere. Like, I still have a junk drawer. I have one junk drawer, but I have systems and routines in place. Like, Unison was here. She got to visit me in Scotland, which was so much fun. And, she watched me. Typically at the end of the night, I'm folding my throw blankets, right? I'm putting dishes in the dishwasher. When I wake up, I make sure that the room I spend my most time in is is set up for me to feel supported in what I need to do that day. And yeah, it's just about creating what works for you. And so I just really like, I've got to witness all the magic that Unison has created in the past 2 years. And I've got to see how it truly helps people. And I just like truly believe that I wouldn't trade like the feeling I get in my home, even right now, right? I'm looking around and I just feel so grateful that I feel like it restores my energy instead of drains it. And so, again, that was a rant, but I just really want people to realize that it doesn't have to be your whole home. It doesn't have to be this grand transformation, like even starting with one space, just one step, right? Like we've talked about is huge. And so we've talked about the energetic things and the physical energy, mental energy, and emotional energy. Before we dive into the exciting thing you have to announce, I would love for you to just share like how if someone were to change, like if their physical, mental, and emotional energy was being drained, how would that show up in their life?
Well, I mean, I have a quiz people can take and find out which one is really being sucked. But it might be something like you don't have the relationship you want. Maybe let's start with emotional energy. Maybe if your house is a mess, are you more likely to not invite anyone over, right? You're probably like, either if they're on their way over, okay, so if this is a question from the quiz, if a coworker that you really like, it calls you and says, hey, I'm in your neighborhood, can I stop by? Are you going to ignore that call or that text, because you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want them to see my house. Whereas, if your house was like inviting and you were proud of it, you're like, heck yeah, come over. Like, so it's hurting our relationships with people if we live in a home that doesn't feel good. And, physical health is a big thing. We've seen the show Hoarders. I'm not talking, there's probably, we're not hoarders on here, but if you're tripping over things in your home, this is a physical hazard. But more than that too, if your fridge is full of food that's spoiled, or, your pantry has things that are expired, honor your body and get rid of anything that's expired, so that's how it's showing up that way. But honestly, it's that mental energy that like I think matters the most, and it really is taxing on especially as women, on our mental energy, and we're losing out on being the best, giving our gifts to the world. If you are a coach, or if you have a business, if you are working with Haley, or you're thinking about it, and you're always in task mode, and you can't just relax, put your shoulders back, breathe, and let the downloads come. If you don't have room to relax and rejuvenate and listen to what the universe is giving you, it's going to skip you and give it to someone else, because these brilliant ideas are coming down pipelines. Boom, boom, boom. You see it all the time. All of these amazing ideas that people have. The universe wants to give you these ideas, but our pipelines are clogged up, I say, right? So like, just take a minute and clear the physical clutter so that you can clear the mental clutter. How many of us have tried to meditate, and you sit down and it's like, ching, just a laundry list of like, gotta go to the grocery store, the cat needs food, da 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 da, right? And when you're meditating, they say, let it go like the clouds, let it go like the clouds. Okay, but what if those clouds weren't there? What if my bed was already made? What if the dishes were already put away? What if I only had 8 dishes because I don't need a million dishes? So they're easy to clean and easy to put away, right? Like when I think of like a monk, they don't have things, right? This is like the ultimate. I'm not telling you to throw everything away and get one garment, but their physical clutter, they realize, right? Haley, I'd never thought about that before, but like, a monk or someone, someone who gives away all of this physical things so that they can connect to spirit, so that they can be really, really centered on what matters. So
I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great examples. And, on the topic of, connecting to God and spirit and unclogging your pipeline, um, it's like when you're manifesting or calling something in, whatever you want to call it, if you're trying to manifest money in your life or a relationship or a business, new clients, whatever it is, if you don't have the mental energy to put forth with those things, and you don't unclear all the things that are blocking it from coming through, you're going to have a harder time manifesting, right? And at least what I believe with part of manifesting is we have to believe from a subconscious level that we're worthy of it and deserving of it. And so, in the example of this with your home, when you're creating a home that feels like your most authentic self, that really reflects the person you want to be, not the person you're settling to be, but who you see yourself being the most, with the most potential. When you take action to shift the things in your home and create space, you're showing the universe, hey, this is who I am. This is who I deserve to be. And you're going to bring in the things you want so much faster because you believe that you deserve them from an authentic place. And so I am really excited because the thing that Unison is about to announce, it is all about manifesting. And just think, Unison, of like letting go of your job in your career, right? Letting go of your career is unclog such a big part of your pipeline that's giving you so much space. And you making that decision to do that told the universe, hey, I know my business is going to be successful. I believe in myself. And I'm proving that by making this decision. And that's the opportunity you're giving people to do in their home. So I don't know if you're ready to share the special thing that you've been cooking up with everyone.
I am so excited to announce this because, I mean, it's not just for, people with a lot of clutter. It's for everyone. And when I said that, like, the universe wants this idea to come down, and if your pipe is clogged, if your pipe, with the universal source is clogged, it's going to give it to someone else. You have to know that that is true. It happens all the time. Have you ever thought of an idea like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I did this? And you wait on something, and then you see it 6 months later, someone else, has this brilliant idea. And it's like, oh, I missed my shot. No, just like listen to what the universe says. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have a container or a group. I'm going to call it a membership, a movement. I'm not quite sure. We're going to take a more than 3,000 year old Feng Shui ritual, which is moving and removing 27 items from your home. And this is shifting that life force energy, that chi. We're going to do that for 9 days. So we're not moving 27 things total. We're moving 27 things out of your home daily for 9 days. How does that feel when I say that? Yeah, like good, like people are either really super nervous about it or they get like really energized about it. We're going to be very intentional. Everyone in this container, in this membership, is going to set an intention, right? Do you want a better relationship, right? Then we're going to focus on getting rid of 27 things daily that are sucking that emotional energy, right? So, or do you want to grow your business? Is 2023 going to be the year your business explodes? It is for me. So I know I'm going to be doing things that are focused on my business, my money, things like this, right? So my visibility, everything like that. That's where my focus is going to be when I'm doing it, right? What am I getting rid of? Because I still have things I can get rid of too. So you could be at any level. You can be a professional organizer and still have 27 things to get rid of daily.
Yeah.
If you want more physical energy, we'll maybe focus on the kitchen or your makeup or things that have to do with your body, right? Your clothes, things like that. So for 9 days, we're going to get rid of 27 things. Now, if that caused a little panic, please know that a box of paper clips is 24 things. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's little things, or like if you have a stack of paper, one piece of paper counts as one thing. So
Exactly.
don't get caught up. Don't let your brain take over and try to keep you safe, right? That's what's happening. Our brain is always like,
Yes.
whoa, I don't want to do that. Whoa. Like, just follow your spirit, follow your heart for this one, and join us. And the link is up. And Haley, I love numbers, right? I love when things
Yes.
align. I love alliteration. So this membership, this group is only $27. It had to be, right? It had to be, because 27 and 9 and the 3 energies. I mean, I have goosebumps, but that's how it had to be. So it's only $27. So if for some reason you're like, oh, I can't spend 27, I can do this myself. I don't want to spend $27 on this membership. Then honestly, I think you need it more than anyone else. If you don't want to spend $27 on how this is going to shift the life force in your house, like, let's do it. Like, jump on board.
Exactly.
I'm going to
Go
say one
ahead.
more thing. I want to say, so I'm combining the Feng Shui, ritual with, it's going to start on the full moon. We're going to start the first full moon of January. And I'm just combining those things. We're going to stir up as much magic as possible. So I think it starts January 6th. I think that's the date it's going to start. And, but sign up now, because what happens when you sign up is, like, there's an intention, right? You might start decluttering today. I know Haley was just talking to some people about it, and they went and organized another room in their home, right? Something about committing to something and saying, yes, I'm in, all of a sudden starts shifting that energy. And wouldn't it be great if when we got to that January spot, you had already done level 1 of decluttering? Don't wait, right? Don't wait for it. You've already done level 1. And then how can we go deeper and deeper and deeper?
Exactly.
So, yeah, I'm really excited to share it. I'm going to be doing it. You're going to be doing it. Like,
I'm signed up.
I'm in.
And one thing I just want to say is, if you're like $27, why would I do that when I could just go do it myself? You just told me what we're doing. Like Unison said, you need it the most. And what we've been talking about this whole live, it's about pouring into yourself. If you're not willing to invest $27 into yourself and into your home, something that you spend every day in,
lunch, you know.
I encourage you to ask yourself why. Why do you think you're not worthy of investing that money and that time into yourself and your home? Because you deserve it. I know you deserve it. Unison knows you deserve it. And you are worth investing 9 days and $27 into yourself to start a new year the way you want to, in a way that reflects your most authentic self and the version you want to be. And one of the best parts about this, see, I know what Unison does. I know I've got to be in her world for 2 years and see the magic that she does and how she helps people. And so for some of you who, are also in Unison's world and you're familiar with what she does, or if you're new, this is a great way to see Unison's philosophy at work, to see her energetic principles, and to get a taste of how Go Goddess can help you in your life. Whether it's an in-person organizing work that you do with her in San Diego, or it's one of her online packages, or something else, this is a really great way to shift the beginning of your new year, shift your home, and to enter Unison's world, and to really just start to transform your home. If you're not ready for a big package or something that's huge, this is a really great way to start and still see a transformation that allows you to really experience the magic that Unison brings to her client in such an accessible way. And one thing, again, like I've mentioned, I wouldn't say I have a lot of stuff either. And I know when I hear 27 things, at first I was like, I don't have 27 things. But I was like, yes, I do. I could delete files on my folder from 2015 from a business I retired from years ago. I'm still holding on to stuff from a business that I retired from I don't even know how many years ago. So it's like, or paper clips. It doesn't have to be, Unison's not saying to get rid of furniture. You can if you want to. We're not going to make you empty out your whole home. It's, like she said, you're setting your intention and letting things go around that. And so I'm really excited for it because I know I'm calling in new things and I need space for that, right?
Yeah, I just got this vision. Like, this is not off topic, but this is like realizing, like, I might cry, but like someone asked me like what my mission in life was, and I was like, to bring peace on earth, right? And I have this idea that it's like one house at a time, right? But like if I don't know, if 20 people joined this membership, or 100 people, however many people join, and that's one house at a time, wherever they are on the planet. I just had this like idea of, you've seen those lights where it's like, pew, from the earth, like the lights up. That's what I want for everyone in this group, is like to unclog. I was calling myself the chief chi plumber, right? Unclogging your connection to source. And if we could do that, on just a few places on the planet, you're in Scotland, I'm in California, like just unclogging that potential, that what you want, and doing it at a few places on the planet, I think we will get closer to peace on earth.
I think so. I love that. And, just for people who
cry.
might be
I
wondering,
cry all the time, people.
I know we cry often. We do. So for people who might be wondering, like, how does it work? How much time should I dedicate for the 9 days? Can you tell us a little bit more about how it works and how much time commitment it is?
Sure. So we're going to start in a Facebook group, and I'll probably go live for 15 minutes a day. So, if you could set aside 15 minutes at any point in the day that works for you to watch the live, and I'll be talking about the energy that we're focused on, or that you are focused on, and I'll give some suggestions of what you can declutter. And then honestly, I tried this last night. I wanted to see how long it took me to declutter 27 things. And I took pictures of all the things because I made a reel with it too. And what I noticed was it probably didn't even take me an hour. It didn't even take me 30 minutes. But what was happening was I was looking around my home and intentionally thinking, hey, what could I get rid of that would clear up my mental energy? What could I get rid of? And so a lot of things that I got rid of were broken things, like a sandwich clip bag that just drives me nuts that I've been using, things like that. So it was less than 30 minutes, and that included me taking pictures. You won't have to take pictures of your stuff, but I wanted to document how long I thought it would take. So maybe 45 minutes a day, probably not. And then, but the biggest thing that I noticed was how it shifted. I was searching. I was looking through a different lens. I was looking through a lens of what can I clear from my home to create mental energy. So if that sounds good to you, about 45 minutes a day, maybe. And then another thing was I even got rid of more than 27 things. I just kind of got on a roll too as I went. So if that sounds good to you, if this sounds like how you want to start your 2023, and whatever, if you have a resolution or a goal or something like that, or something you want to manifest, this supports that. This is not and something else you're doing. This will, whatever your goal is, I want to know, and I will give you help on how to support that. So really, that's it.
I love that. So essentially, what I'm hearing you say is this is the launch pad for their manifestation. It doesn't have to be separate. It's you you share in the group what you're manifesting, and you're going to support them and help them find the things to let go of or shift to launch them towards unblocking their pipeline and unblocking. So they're really communicating to the universe through shifting in this Move It to Manifest challenge. Because of the challenge, they'll be communicating to the universe, hey, I know I deserve this thing I'm manifesting. I'm proving that by taking action. And
yeah, the universe wants you to put skin in the game. The universe wants to see those action steps. And this is the first one. Yeah,
exactly. So whether, and this might be some tough love here, but sometimes I have to dish it out. And it's like, look, whether your goal is to start a brand new business or scale to 20K months or lose 50 pounds, whatever it is, if you're setting massive goals, but you're not also setting micro goals and you're not willing to invest in yourself with micro commitments, how possible do you think that big ass goal of yours truly is if you're not willing to show up in a micro way, in a micro commitment? It's why part of the reason why I decided to invest in the challenge, because I know that if I'm not willing to invest $27 or 45 minutes a day for 9 days, how long am I really going to stick it out, my New Year goal of this really big thing I want? I probably won't. It's why so many people don't accomplish their New Year resolution. And again, like, I know that's a little bit of tough love, but I say it because I want you to have the business and life that you love. Unison wants you to have the home and life that you deserve, that makes you feel like a goddess. And just imagine how good it'll feel for one of the first 9 days in the new year. I know it doesn't start on the first, but just imagine how good you'll feel and how proud of yourself you will feel by showing up for yourself daily for 9 days and doing these micro commitments, whether it takes you 10 minutes or an hour. Just imagine how good you're going to feel at the end of those 9 days. Doing it with a group of people too, that'll make it fun. Like, yeah, so I just wanted to share that, show up for yourself, invest in yourself, because I know I probably spend 30 minutes a day scrolling on Facebook. So for me, I'll shift my intention to, like, I'll make time for this because it's a priority to me to show up for myself in this way. So maybe I don't scroll for 30 minutes and I do the challenge. And I know it'll be fun because you're doing it. Everything you do is fun. And it'll be supportive, because that's what you're really great at. So that was a rant, but I believe in this so much. I'm so excited. I think literally everyone should do it. Like, it can help anyone at any stage and any level, like Unison was saying.
I am on fire for this. Like, this has been kind of an idea in the back burner for a while. And then, right, we were kind of working on something else. And I was like, I just shift focus just right now because this is huge. This was one of those moments for me that the universe was like, do this. And I'm like, all right, it's done. And I mean, everything just came together. So exactly. I am running off to support a client right now.
Yes.
And I have been thank you so much for having me live. And
of course.
And introducing me to all of your fun friends and everything. And
it was so much fun.
Feel free, everyone who's watching this, to like add me on Facebook or Instagram.
Yes. So tell them like where, before you have to go, because I know you have to hop off soon, where can people find you? How can they connect with you? I will be dropping the link to the Move It Out to Manifest Challenge in the comments.
Good.
But tell everyone where they can connect with you.
So I am here. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Unison Frances. And you'll see my pink hair, and you can probably find me as a friend of Haley's, on Money Rebel, things like that. I'm also on TikTok under Go Goddess Organizing, because that's the name of the business. So I really, really look forward to just connecting with everyone more, and especially in this Move It Out to Manifest. We call it Feng Shui the shit out of your house.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining me today. This was so fun, and I'll post the links for everyone. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoy this episode, you can help support the podcast by making sure you're subscribed, hit the 5 stars, and leave a review. Thank you so much, my Money Rebel family, for supporting the show, and tune in next week for another episode.